In a small town surrounded by hills and rain-soaked streets, lived two souls who loved each other more than words could ever express. This is the story of Arav and Maya, a love that time couldn't erase, and a letter that never reached its destination. Part 1. The First Meeting. It was the first day of college when Arav saw her Maya, standing under an old tree, holding a sketchbook, drawing raindrops. Arav smiled. Something about her calmness drew him in. From that day, every morning began with her smile and ended with her goodbye. They became best friends, and slowly, something deeper bloomed. Part 2. The Confession. One evening, as the sun set over the lake, Arav finally gathered the courage to tell Maya what he felt. He wrote a letter, a simple note that said, "I don't know what love feels like, but when you smile, I feel it." PP'd the letter into her book when she wasn't looking. But fate had other plans. Part 3. The Separation. The next morning, Maya was gone. Her father had been transferred to another city overnight. No goodbye. No message. Only silence. Arav waited for weeks, months, even years, but she never returned. He never knew that his letter, the one he slipped into her book, had fallen into the rain, washed away before she could ever read it. Part 4. Years later. 10 years passed. Arav became a successful artist, but every painting he made had her in it, the girl who loved the rain. One day, he was invited to an art exhibition in another city, and there, among the crowd, he saw her, Maya, still holding a sketchbook, still drawing raindrops. Part 5. The Truth. When their eyes met, time froze. They smiled, and in that silence, every unanswered question was finally heard. Maya said softly, "Arav, I waited for your words. I thought you never felt the same." Arav replied, "I wrote to you, Maya, but the letter never reached." Part 6. The reunion. Tears filled her eyes. She pulled out an old, faded sketchbook. Between its pages was that half-broken, rain-stained letter. She whispered, "Maybe the rain tried to take it away, but it couldn't wash away our love." Part 7. The Ending. Years later, people say that whenever it rains in that city, you can see two figures sitting under an old tree, sketching, smiling, and lost in their own world. Because sometimes, in a small town, cradled by rolling hills and kissed by gentle rain, lived two souls whose love was a language all its own. This is the story of Arav and Maya, a love that time itself could not forget. Arav, with eyes that held the depth of the evening sky, and Maya, whose laughter was like the first bloom of spring, were inseparable. Their days were woven together with shared dreams whispered under the sprawling banyan tree and promises made by the river that flowed through their town. Their love was the town's favorite melody, a simple, beautiful tune that everyone hummed. Arav was a writer, his words finding life only when he wrote about Maya. Maya, a painter, found her canvas came alive only with colors that reminded her of him. They planned a future, a small cottage with a garden, filled with the scent of jasmine and the sound of their shared life. But life, as it often does, had a different story to write. An opportunity arose for Arav, a scholarship to study literature in a distant city, a dream he had nurtured since he was a boy. It was a chance he couldn't refuse, but the thought of leaving Maya was a pain that pierced his heart. On their last evening together, under a sky full of stars, he held her close. "I'll be back, Maya," he promised, his voice thick with emotion. "I will write to you every single day, and once I'm done, I'll come back for you, and we'll build our home." Maya, Her eyes, shimmering with unshed tears, held onto his promise as if it were a lifeline. The day he left, a piece of the town's soul seemed to go with him. True to his word, Arav wrote. He poured his heart onto paper, his longing, his dreams for their future, his unwavering love for Maya. He wrote about the bustling city, the new faces, but how none of it compared to the quiet beauty of their town and her. He sealed his most important letter, the one that held all his future plans and a heartfelt proposal, and sent it with hope in his heart. Back home, Maya waited. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The postman became a daily symbol of hope, and then, slowly, of despair. No more letter came. The silence from Arav's end was a deafening roar in her heart. Doubt, a cruel weed, began to sprout in the garden of her love. Had he forgotten her? Had the big city lights blinded him to their small-town love? The town's whispers didn't help, planting seeds of uncertainty. Broken-hearted, believing she had been forgotten, Maya eventually agreed to an arranged marriage, her spirit dimming like a fading sunset. Meanwhile, Arav, confused and hurt by Maya's silence, continued his studies with a heavy heart. The letters he sent were returned, unopened, marked addressee moved. He didn't know that a twist of fate, a simple mistake by a new postman, had delivered his most crucial letter to the wrong address, where it lay lost and unread. He believed Maya had moved on, forgotten him. The pain fueled his writing, turning his sorrow into poignant tales of lost love that resonated with readers far and wide. He became a celebrated author, but his success felt hollow, a constant reminder of the love he thought he had lost. Years tumbled by, blanketing the past in a thick layer of time. Arav, now a renowned writer, felt an unshakable pull to return to his roots, to the town that held the ghost of his greatest love and deepest sorrow. The town had changed, yet it was hauntingly the same. The hills were still green, the streets still slick with rain, and the old banyan tree stood as a silent witness to their past. As he walked down a familiar lane, he saw a small art gallery, drawn by an unseen force. He stepped inside. The walls were adorned with beautiful paintings, but one, in particular, stole his breath. It was a painting of the banyan tree by the river, under a starlit sky. The style was unmistakable. It was Maya's. His heart hammered against his ribs, and then he saw her. She was older, her hair lightly streaked with silver, but her eyes held the same gentle light he had never forgotten. She was the gallery owner. Time stood still as their eyes met across the room. The years of silence, of misunderstanding and heartache, melted away in that one, long, poignant gaze. She whispered, her voice a fragile echo from the past. Maya was all he could manage. His own voice choked with a decade of unspoken words. That evening, they sat by the river, the same river that had heard their promises so long ago. The truth, like a long-lost secret, finally unspooled. He told her about the letters, the endless stream of words he had sent into a void, and then the pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. Maya remembered her family moving houses briefly after she was married, the confusion, the lost mail, and she realized the postman's error. That one lost letter, it had cost them a lifetime. Maya reached into her bag and pulled out a worn, leather-bound journal. It was filled with sketches, all of him, of them, of the memories she could never bring herself to paint away. He, in turn, told her that every heroine in his best-selling novels was a reflection of her, a tribute to the woman he could never forget. In the gentle twilight, surrounded by the echoes of their youth, they found not bitterness or regret, but a profound understanding. The love they shared hadn't died. It had merely been waiting. It had weathered the storm of separation and the silence of years. It was a quieter love now, tinged with the wisdom of time and the ache of loss, but it was just as deep, just as true. Their story is a powerful reminder that true love doesn't fade with time or distance. It doesn't break under the weight of misunderstanding. It waits patiently, sometimes for a lifetime, for the right moment to be rediscovered. It proves that some connections are so profound that not even fate can sever them completely. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more stories that celebrate the enduring power of the human heart. We'll see you in the next one.